Good day. Good day. This is Mr. Anderson. Getting a little exercise on. Just wanted to come on and talk about some things, making decisions. In life we have a lot of opportunities and situations that we need to make a decision, and it very well can affect our outcome of our lives and our children's lives. That affects the product of the environment for your children and for the people and friends and all that they get from you. So, we have to really not think with our emotions and think logically when it comes to making decisions, and just really what fits best for us and our situation and our alignment. And, a lot of times with myself, especially, you want something and you don't get it. But then I've learned through my reading and understanding myself, there's always opportunity that's bigger and better for you. For instance, my situation with my job, I really enjoy, since I've been up here, training and seeing a culture and seeing a system that actually is working and productive and has longevity. So whenever I looked at it first through my logical lens, it was like, man, what does it offer for me and my growth and my alignment? And I looked at all the things that I want to accomplish and I want to do with my trading and business and my self-growth, what really would help me do that and develop those skills. Because a lot of times you go to a job, people got that misconstrued. Well, the people that want to change and want better, we don't look at the job as a job. We look at the job as an opportunity, the career as an opportunity to grow and push ourselves forward to the next step, to a higher level. That's why I tell a lot of people that I'm around, or whenever, especially going through these temporary jobs that I was going through, warehousing in Fort Lauderdale. Like, man, don't let, and then I'm not talking to my son, don't let this be, it's a job, but get the skills that you need from it. And then use those skills to develop more skills. And the better the skills you don't have and understand, and it's all data. At the end of the day, it's all resourceful information that we get, that we need to better ourselves. But then some people get comfortable, and some people just like where they are. And I'm not doubting anyone. Yet I know there's a select few that wants more and want to try harder and make those decisions. And that's why I tell anyone that I'm around, man, you got to really look at it. And that's part of my system that I've created. It's like you got to take emotion out of it. Look at what's going to contribute to where you're trying to go, and align that with everything else. And then that's where you go. Sometimes it's not always perfect. Sometimes something bigger and better comes along. Yet don't look at the failures or look at the loss, because you're always going to lose. You're always going to lose at something, at some point. You're not always going to get it right. But just making those decisions to better yourself and your function of your life, man, it makes a big difference. And I'm happy with my decisions. Even though it's hard, and I know they say people don't see the struggle. They just see the nice car and family, nice clothes and trips and all that stuff. They don't see the struggle that people had to go through to get where they are. They don't see the lonely nights, just, man, just all that. And I know everyone has been through those, had those nights that you just want to give up, and that you like right there about point of giving up, and then something happens and it triggers you to do something better, or your children come in the room, or family member calls you, just see how you're doing, and that gives you that little extra motivation to push yourself forward. You have to really have a desire and a passion to do certain things. And I was talking to my best friend and his girlfriend, and her actually, and we were talking about working out, and I was like, I've learned that if you didn't start working out in the beginning of your life, it's going to be very hard for you to stick to it as you get older. And she agreed. She's like, all the people she trained, a lot of people that never had experience working out, it's really hard for them to stay on task. But the people that grew up playing sports and and actually working at a young age, or had parents who worked out at a young, around them while they were young age, product environment. They were able to catch on quickly and easier. As I say that, I'm on a bike. So, and even though I'm in a hotel, it's like that's part of my life that I want to be around here as long as I can. I want to see my grandchildren. I want to be around healthy and to be able to enjoy those moments. So, yeah, my blood pressure was high. And that was causing me issues with my CDL license and all this stuff. So, even though we worked so hard, and like I said before, that reminder of me driving those few days that I did, that, this is why I got out of this. Because of the time constraint, the wear and tear on my body, and me growing up playing sports almost all my life, and being active all my life, it takes a lot of wear and tear, and then driving trucks. On top of that, it takes a lot of wear and tear on your body and your mind. So, but you have to make those decisions. But I didn't know nothing back then. I didn't know where I was trying to go. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just doing what I was told and trying to find my way. Through the process, here I am, somewhere, a company that I feel comfortable with, that I can see myself growing and learning. And I'm anxious to see where all this takes me. I have my plan and I have my idea, especially trading. I love day trading. Love day trading. That, and, I've looked at myself and like, man, it's time for me to be able to work smarter, work with my mind instead of always physical. If I want to work physically, I want to do it on my time. And that's me working out, me going to the gym, me going to the pool, me going play basketball or something, play with my kids. It'll be on my time. So we just really have to look at life as in a sense of how we want to project our life. And you got to also remember that your children are watching, your family and friends are watching, and it motivates them as well to see you keep trying, even though you've been through everything and then some, and you've hit your lowest of low, or they don't know how far you've been down, but you're able to keep a smile, just trying to stay as positive as you can. Man, I know it's hard. It's hard. I know many days I really wanted to just lay in the bed and not do anything. And it was those days that I pushed myself to get up and take a walk, that was my clearest days. It turned into my clearest days. So we have to really stop thinking emotionally and think logically. Let me get up. I know I need to get my blood pressure right. Let me stop sitting here and sulking in my own. And I remember one of my basketball coach, Coach North, shout out to Coach North, Dyersburg High School, but shout out to him. I remember the times when I was always pouting because I know I was better than some of the guys on that team and why they was getting better playing time than me and all this other stuff. So I would pout because I didn't play as much, or because I was a competitor. I'm a competitor. I want to compete. I know what I can do. So, but he told me, he's like, you sitting here whining or sulking, it's not gonna do nothing. Go to the gym and practice after practice or after the game. Go home on the weekends and take some shots. Go home, run a mile. Go do the extra stuff to make yourself better instead of using your emotions to not let you do anything. Use your emotions to push you, or use that logical. Like, man, it's not doing me no good. Let me get up. It's not making me no stronger. The only thing it's doing is make me angry. Use that anger to push you to that next level. So, and I think that's what I did because it stripped a lot of emotional feelings from me a little bit, even though I still have certain things, certain situations or certain things are still kind of somewhat sensitive to me right now. Always my children, that's always going to be a sensitive point. Any child, I hate seeing any child struggling or not having or crying or happy, it hits me harder. It's not sadness, it's anger or it's overjoyed. So, we have to find what makes us passion, what gives us passion and joy, and think logically and use that logic in that thought process. And at the end of the day, you'll come out on top. It's just you gotta keep going. I had a call. Sorry about that. I had a phone call. But you gotta keep moving. You gotta keep moving, keep grooving. And let them people that's that are comfortable or want to bring you down or not trying to uplift you in your life, move them to the side, get rid of them. That's one of the things I always try to tell people, like, see, that's why I don't have that many friends, and I can be by myself, yet that having those friends, those true friends and true family surround, it really helps to have people in your corner. But me being in the truck so long, just kind of used, but y'all heard that before. But I'm getting out of that. I do like being around people. Sometimes I feel weird and odd because I'm not hip to a lot of stuff. I'm not up to a lot of the trends and stuff like that because I don't do it. I don't care who win a basketball game. I don't care who won a football game. I don't care who won a baseball. I'm just here to enjoy my time in this moment at this time. And that's how I look at it. And that's how I put that in my logic. So, that being said, I want too much of nothing. Well, a lot of something. Like I said, I'm trying to keep these short. But, man, y'all keep your head up. Don't let your emotions cloud your judgment. Don't let don't do that. Get rid of that as much as you can. Get rid of those fears. That's one of the main things I'm trying to get my nervous system under control, because that's what controls everything, is your mind and your nervous system. That gives you those feelings, those tight feelings, those loose feelings, those warm feelings, those anger feelings, those great feelings. It gives you that. So control that. Y'all know me. I'm a big component of, or I don't know if it's a component. I'm a big, what's the word? I'm tired. I'm big on meditation. I'm really, really big on meditation. I'm not talking about the meditation. I'm just talking about just sitting still, cutting the lights out, and just being at peace, and just thinking all your thoughts and going through them, checklist, and then having that blank slate of nothingness in you as well. Sometimes it all helps. It calms you. It balances you. For me, I'm big on that, man. So that being said, y'all stay easy, man. Just to keep your head up, 10 toes down, head to the sky. That's been my motto for a long, long, long time. And I'm gonna push that out more and more as I go through this journey. But really look at your opportunities, look at your decisions that you make, and start small, and just stick to that decision and be confident in that decision. It's those small wins that give us power for the big wins. And it's those small losses that gives us power for the big losses. That's one of those trading philosophies. You gotta have a poker face. You can't just be, oh yeah, I won. No, just let's keep it moving. Have your moment of thankfulness and understanding, and let's get to the next. Let's get to the next until we get to that goal. But that's all. Y'all be easy. I'm gonna keep on this journey, stay on this elliptical. Well, I'm on a bike. I'm doing a good little workout, but y'all keep your head up, man. Don't look where you are now. Look where you know you're gonna be. Think about that. And, well, don't think about that. Look where you are now, because that really helps you to understand things. But don't let it define who you are. Keep hunting for more. Keep hunting for abundance. Let me go. Y'all be easy. This is Mr. Anderson, and I approve this message.